Welcome to the PVN College Podcast, where our goal is to grow students in the love and knowledge of Jesus Christ. In today's episode, we're going to interview a college grad who's about to hike the Appalachian Trail. Our guest today is Rance Brown. Rance graduated from North Georgia with a bachelor's in interdisciplinary studies. He has a master's degree in business administration from Berry College, where he now serves as the tree crew supervisor for the moment. Rance, welcome to the podcast, man.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Dude, it's good. It's good to have you, man. It's good to have an explorer. You're definitely the first explorer that we've ever had on our on our podcast. I did want all right, interdisciplinary studies is not what we're talking about today, but I think when I was back in my day, it was called general studies, and you got to basically pick 3 minors. And that was what you majored. Is that what interdisciplinary studies is?
It's the same thing. Yes.
Okay. What were your 3? Totally just curious.
Oh man, it was humanities.
Okay.
And a lot of communications.
Yeah.
Journalism.
Cool.
And I think social sciences.
Oh, nice.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
It's been a minute, but
are you getting ready to write a book? Is that what you're telling us? Is that about the AP or the A? See, I just did it. I just called it the AP. I've been so correct everyone who's listening. If you're hiking the Appalachian Trail, it's not the AP, right?
Right.
What is it actually?
The AT.
It's the AT. All right, which makes perfect sense, but like AP, short for Appalachian, does that?
I can see it, yeah.
I think so too. I feel
sure.
like it could work, but so for the listeners, it's interchangeable. Just for today, it's interchangeable.
That works for me.
Okay, I know if any hiking enthusiasts get angry at us, we'll forward them to you and let you handle the business. So you are now. Let me say it, and then you tell me where I'm wrong or if I'm right. Your plan is in the next couple of months, you're hiking the Appalachian Trail, right? That's the game plan?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the plan, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm setting out. I'm actually doing an unconventional through hike. It's they call it a flip-flop.
Okay.
So you start at any point on the trail and go one direction to the end, and then you flip back to that point and go the other direction. Okay. And my plan is to start in Virginia, right at the southern entrance of Shenandoah National Park.
Man.
Hike to Maine, and then come back to Shenandoah and hike back home to Georgia.
Wow.
So
that is the coolest thing I've ever heard. That's the coolest sentence I've ever heard in my life in person. So hiking from Virginia to Maine. How far is that?
Let's see. The mile is 864 is the mile of the 2,193 mile Appalachian Trail.
Yeah.
So quick math. I mean, there's 1,200 something miles. And,
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And then now, how will you get? Just totally curious. Now, how will you get back from Maine to Virginia? Are you flying back down, or are you? How's that work?
My parents will probably come pick me up and make a little. I'm sure they'll make a. Big travelers, they'll make a road trip out of it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man, so the whole family kind of gets a little bit of a trip out of it, I guess. Yeah. Wow, man, that is awesome. And now, but you're not just doing that. You're kind of pulling up your roots here, right? You're throwing some. I am. Tell me about that a little bit.
I've just sold my house.
You did sell it.
I did sell it.
Nice.
Yes, actually closed yesterday.
Whoa, congrats, man.
Yeah, it's all just been super blessed. Yeah. I can't believe how well it's came together.
Yeah. So you have sold your house.
Sold my house.
And now when does this all start? When does you call it a through hike? Is that right? Does that just mean you are hiking through the entire trail? Is that why it's called a through hike?
Right. Yes. A through hike is a hike of the entire trail in 12 months or less.
Okay.
So that's what constitutes a through hike.
So you have 12 months to do this, essentially.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yes.
And now you've sold your house. Where are you just staying with mom and dad right now, getting ready?
Yes. I'm in the final stages of moving out, and but I will be for a few weeks before I take off. So
so I can't believe I forgot this. Now, when does all this? Do you have an exact date in mind? When does this all start?
Yes, I'm starting April 16th.
You're starting April the 16th. Oh my gosh, dude! So less than a month.
Right.
Less than a month. And your parents are riding up to Virginia, I would take it.
Yes, they are. They're gonna take me up, and we're gonna stay right outside the park, and then drop me off, and and
that is so awesome. That's
and
crazy.
go for it. So
wow, man. Now, so how, I don't even know how to ask these questions. How did this idea, where did this come about? Is this something kind of like a lifelong dream? Did it just pop into your head? Or do you have other hiking experience? How does all that work together?
well, it's been a dream for quite a few years. I went to college at the University of North Georgia in Dahlonega.
Yes.
And so, it's right there, right on the AT. And I would go on short day hikes, drive to the trail and just where it crossed the road and just start walking, and but then of course you always have to turn around and come back. And I've always just I remember looking down the trail and just saying that goes to Maine. I wonder, there's just so much the unknown, and just exciting to me to look up the trail and think I can walk across.
Yeah. So you're in college at North Georgia, and you're just kind of thinking through, what if I could just keep going, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that happens while you're in college, and then does that change? Does that grow? Now you've graduated college. All right, let's keep going.
Yeah, and it's just always been in my head as something like this. I know it's just a goal, that I've wanted to do, and then just here lately it's just kind of worked out. I'm like, well, I'm in a career change, and then it's really just came together, and and worked out, and so I'm taking the leap and going to try to make it happen.
Yeah.
So,
oh, that's so awesome. So basically it just kind of worked out naturally to where you were like, hey, I'm at a point in my life where I can afford, not like financially, but just in terms of time and commitments, I can afford to kind of pull up and just do this for a while. Is that fair to say? Is that right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So,
man, that is crazy. Now, the next question says, walk me through the actual plan. I think you've done most of that, but so we've got kind of the trip, right? Mom and Dad are going to take you up to Virginia and Shenandoah National Park. You'll start there. You'll, as part of your flip-flop through hike, right? You got me impressed. I got all that right. You'll go up to Maine, where then Mom and Dad will swing back up and get you and bring you back to the front of Shenandoah again.
Right. Yes.
And then you'll go the opposite way. Where do you end in Georgia?
Springer Mountain.
Okay.
Yes. Springer Mountain, and just depending, I might Amicalola Falls State Park.
Yep.
And that's where there's an approach trail. It's like 10 more miles from Springer.
Gotcha.
You can come down and you'll end right there at Amicalola Falls.
Yeah. Too cool. Now, how will you, and again, this is so new to me, how will you communicate with Mom and Dad to say, hey, I'm here, or what is it? What is communication like?
Hopefully, most of the time you should be able to have cell service, at least every
have
day.
Cell service.
No, you will.
You should on the Appalachian Trail.
At least every day or two.
Really?
You should be able to get some somewhere.
I didn't know that.
Go through towns pretty regularly.
Gotcha.
At least once a week.
Darn. I didn't know that.
Right. The longest stretch without going through a town is the 100-mile wilderness in Maine, and that's you're out there.
Yeah.
And you're on your own through that stretch, but that's the only stretch. You're going to be relatively close to civilization at any point on the trail, because there's so many towns.
So that kind of leads to my next question is, so in terms of like your gear and your supplies, food, but also protective gear, clothing, etc., are you planning to, do you have strategic stops in towns to refuel, so to speak? Is that how that works?
Yes. Yeah, you do. I don't have a set plan right now because everything I've read and just thinking about it, it's just going to go out the window the first day.
Really?
There's just so much unknown. There's weather, and just so many things that could set you back. And if you're sending, some people send resupply boxes to towns, but if you get there, at 6 o'clock on the Friday and the post office is closed until Monday, then you're stuck in town. And that's that could be a lot of money.
Yeah,
waiting for that box if you have something you really need in it.
Right.
And most of the towns have learned that they're capitalizing, on AT hikers.
Yeah.
So they're going to have everything you need.
Yeah.
You'll be able to get it in the towns along the trail.
So your plan is kind of just to stop as needed in the towns that are closest, and purchase or rent the stuff that you need as you go.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. Should just have to really. There'll be some gear that you should have to replace, like your shoes. But I'm just planning on just getting it along the way and kind of figuring out while I go.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think, oh man, that is such a good point in terms of like, so part of it's to you, to me, it sounds like part of your plan is accepting that it's kind of hard to make a plan with this.
Right. It is. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to have a little bit of a plan.
Yeah,
I'm okay with some surprises and just kind of going with it. But it does make me nervous. But it's going to be opportunity to grow and just kind of
absolutely 100%.
Get out of my comfort zone. So
no doubt. Are you planning to hike at a certain pace? Are you just kind of enjoying leisure, enjoying the trip, a little bit of both? What is that like?
A little bit of both. I would like to complete it in about 5 months.
Okay.
And that's roughly 150 days. So
you want to complete it in roughly 150 days?
I would like to, but I don't have a time limit. I want to definitely enjoy it. So I'm not gonna try to rush myself or push myself, past my limits.
Sure.
But that averages out to about 15 miles a day.
Okay.
And some days you could do a few more, and some you'll do a few less. And definitely we'll be taking a few days off. What they call a 0 day. That's when you do 0 miles.
Makes sense.
And hang out in a town or just let your body rest.
Yeah. No, for sure. Okay, gotcha. So the 0 days will probably not be spent in a tent; they'll be spent in a town. You think?
Right.
Well, is that
they could be either
or?
I guess
There's no plan. I keep
there's
forgetting.
no plan. I guess it depends on money and where I'm at.
Yeah. So. Wow, man. Wow. So I guess that was my. How much gear will you carry with you? Can you? And it doesn't have to be everything, because that we'd be here for another, I feel like, hour and a half, which I'm actually not against. But so like, all right, on a typical day on the trail, and maybe there is no typical day, but on a typical day on the trail, how much gear are you carrying? Can you just give us some basics that you're always going to have with you?
Right. Yes. Of course. They call it the big three in backpacking. That's your backpack.
Okay.
Your sleeping bag.
Yep.
And your I'm blinking.
As long as you don't blank on the trail, it's fine.
And your tent.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And so.
Makes sense.
Yes. So I've got a tarp tent, little tent. And it's just like it's a 1-man little tent, and pretty but roomy.
Yeah.
And so and then I've got a sleeping bag, a sleeping pad. It's an air pad. I'm going a little fancy. Some people just do like a foam.
So bougie, Rance. Come on, man.
Some people do like a closed cell foam pad, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I could.
Right.
Give me a little.
That
comfort.
Would be crazy.
So it would be rough, But and I'm taking a little stove to cook.
Nice.
To cook a hot meal, and I like my coffee in the mornings.
Yeah.
And
so you'll be bringing like some Folgers with you, or just in the bag?
Probably some kind of instant coffee.
Yeah. Nice.
Have coffee in the mornings, and then a warm hot meal at night. And
so hot meals, what does that consist of? How does that work?
Either they make the freeze dried like backpacker meals that are all, and you just add water into the bag and stir it up and let it sit.
Gotcha.
And I'll be trying to do some of those, but they're definitely expensive on the pricey side, and so that'll add up quick. So probably a lot of people do like the Knorr pasta sides or rice sides, and just add like some kind of protein, like a tuna packet or a chicken packet or something like that, and.
Too funny, man.
So probably dehydrated meals for the most part.
Yeah, then, right. Where now water supply?
Water supply, yes, that's another big thing. I'm taking a Sawyer squeeze.
Okay.
It's a filter. Okay. So you can screw it on a smart water bottle, and then you just filter the water through it, and it filters out all the bad stuff, and they last forever. So
I was going to ask, how often do you have to swap out that filter?
It should be good for the whole trip.
So you can just kind of dunk your water bottle in the river, so to speak,
and then it'll put that on there, and then just drink straight from it.
Get out of town. Wow, that is so cool. That is so cool. How are mom and dad doing? Are they excited for you? A little nervous? Is it both?
I'm both. For sure. And I think. My mom's she's a little more excited, I think, than my dad. I don't
really.
Yeah,
I would have thought it would be the other way.
No.
Okay.
My dad, I know he's excited, and he's been super supportive. They both have, and my mom as well. They've been awesome about the whole thing. But my mom, she's a hiker as well. She likes hiking, and she's actually gonna hike with me for the first day, and cool. I'm sure we'll. Maybe come meet me somewhere else and do some hikes along the way.
Oh, well, that's so important to know. Okay, cool. So you think mom? Well, she's going to start it with you the first day.
Yes.
and then she may kind of pop up in some different locales and just meet you and do a few
hopefully
days.
so, yeah.
Cool.
Hopefully so. And
nice.
Yeah. But
that's it's cool because like that's a long time to be by yourself.
it is, you're right. And there's going to be a lot of people out there, and
okay.
everybody's.
Tell me about that. Yeah. So is it? Do you think you're going to find some, lack of a better word, buddies to just kind of go with, or is it just kind of waving to people as you pass each other? What does that look like?
It can change, but I hope to definitely find some people that I can just hike with and, go through the lawn. They call it your tramily, your trail family.
Very nice.
I'm hoping to find one, and but there should be a lot of people out there. That's one of my reasons I'm doing the flip flop. It's because a lot of people are starting, like they've been starting for the last month, or some people started back in January. But there's a lot of hikers starting, and so and there's expecting, like this year from what I've read and kind of that it's going to be a really crowded year. And so I'm trying to avoid those crowds by starting in Virginia. So I'm kind of just jumping ahead. So I should be ahead of the big, they call it the hiker bubble.
Okay. Wow.
So I should be ahead of that, most of the way. And
so much vocabulary.
There's a
cool.
lot of lingo that goes with the
it's a whole like
subculture.
It
is.
That's too cool, man. I see so many parallels to what you're doing. And I'm not even. I mean, I'm a pastor by nature, but I'm not even trying to spiritualize it. I'm not trying to Jesus juke, to use a word from my culture. But there are so many parallels, like the importance of not being by yourself all the time. The fact when you said that you kind of have to plan for the fact that there is no plan, right. That kind of reminds me. Like I think it's James 4 where James talks about. We say that today and tomorrow we'll do this, this, and this, but it's really if the Lord wills, and how that's about
right.
that good tension between having a being wise and having a plan, but not worshiping that plan. You know what I mean?
Right.
And just endurance and having that mindset. And I don't know. There's just so many parallels. I feel like, and this is totally your thing. Is there any particular, and maybe not, is there any particular thing that you hope to kind of to get from, to look back on this and say, this was, is the goal just to finish, or is there something that you want to get out of this for yourself? What's the motivation?
Right. It's just the journey, really. I definitely I hope to look inward and learn and grow and learn a lot about myself, and the challenge. I hope to gain some confidence, in myself and my abilities.
Yeah.
Physical and mental, emotional and spiritual, just all around. And it's just I don't know. Yeah, and definitely I hope to grow closer to God. Get out there in nature. That's where I feel closest. To God. And just immerse myself in the beauty and just kind of take a time out and just get away and kind of.
100%, man. I think dude, that sounds so awesome. It's funny. We have just to kind of close this out. We always try to have like a further resources section. And there's not, there's obviously very important resources on hiking the Appalachian Trail. But one of the things that you and I both have in common is that we've both read most of a book by a guy named Bill Bryson called A Walk in the Woods. Right. Can you just kind of sum up what that, if someone's listening and they're like, what is that about? Can you just kind of sum it up real quick as to what that book is about?
Sure. Yeah. It follows the story of Bill Bryson, and he's an older gentleman.
Nice.
And just one day,
to put lightly. Nice.
Out of shape, just
no hiking experience.
No
at
hiking
all.
experience. And one day he just decides he's out and just looks up the trail and is like, well, I'm gonna go for this. I'm gonna do it. And I think all his family and friends are like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
But he sets out. He sits out with one of his old buddies. Named Katz, and he convinces him to do it. And I think Katz is in worse shape than Bill is. And but they do it, and I'm not sure if they ever actually complete the entire thing, but they do a good bit of it, and it just the book's just a funny story and of their experiences out there, and he packs in a ton of history and information about the AT and and just a lot of stuff and surrounding it, and it's just a funny book. It's got a lot of
Just a fun place to start. Yeah,
it
for
is.
someone curious to learn a little more, but also really enjoy the read. A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson. Man, Rance, I could be here for forever just asking you all these questions, but we wish you the best of luck. We'll be praying for you for sure.
Thank you.
And man, thanks for being with us today.
Sure. It's a pleasure. I really enjoyed it.
For more information on this topic, message us on Instagram at PVN College, listen to the PVN College podcast through Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, watch this podcast on Instagram TV at PVN College, or on our YouTube page, Pleasant Valley North. We love you guys, and we'll see you next time. That's a wrap. Dude, man.